You know what's fascinating? 20% of men under 30 haven't had sex in the past year, and that number keeps climbing. Meanwhile, women are having more dating options than ever before, yet both genders seem more frustrated with relationships than previous generations. Today we're diving into why so many men are staying single for years. And yes, we need to talk about the role women play in this modern dating disaster. But before you click away thinking this is some anti-women rant, stick around because this affects everyone. Whether you're a man wondering why dating feels impossible, or a woman confused about why good guys seem to have disappeared, understanding these dynamics could completely change how you approach relationships. Let's start with the numbers that nobody wants to talk about. Dating apps have fundamentally rewired how we meet people, and the statistics are shocking. On platforms like Tinder, the average woman receives dozens of matches per day, while the average man gets maybe 1 or 2 per week. This creates what researchers call a hypergamous market, where women can afford to be extremely selective while men compete for scraps of attention. Here's where it gets interesting. Women naturally tend to date up in terms of status, income, and social value. This isn't shallow, it's evolutionary psychology. For thousands of years, women needed partners who could provide resources and protection. That instinct hasn't disappeared just because we live in apartments and order DoorDash. But here's the problem in today's world. Women are now earning college degrees at higher rates than men, climbing corporate ladders faster in many fields, and achieving financial independence like never before. This should be celebrated, but it creates an unintended consequence in the dating market. When successful women still want to date up, but they're already near the top of the social and economic hierarchy, the pool of acceptable men shrinks dramatically. Think about it this way. A woman making $80,000 a year might still want a partner making over $100,000. A woman with a master's degree might prefer someone with an advanced degree. A woman who's ambitious and driven might find men without clear career trajectories unappealing. None of these preferences are wrong, but mathematically, they create a shortage. Meanwhile, men are dealing with their own crisis. Traditional markers of masculinity, like being the breadwinner, having a clear career path, or owning property, have become much harder to achieve. Housing costs have skyrocketed. Good jobs require more education than ever, and many young men are struggling to find their place in a rapidly changing economy. Social media and dating apps amplify all of these problems exponentially. Women see endless streams of seemingly perfect men online, making them less satisfied with real options in their actual lives. They develop what researchers call choice overload, where having too many options leads to decision paralysis and constantly wondering if someone better is just one swipe away. For men, social media creates unrealistic expectations about what they need to achieve to be considered attractive. They see influencers with perfect bodies, expensive cars, and exotic vacations, then look at their own ordinary lives and feel inadequate. This leads many men to withdraw from dating entirely rather than face constant rejection. But here's where women's role becomes crucial. And this isn't about blame. It's about understanding systems. Many women have unconsciously raised their standards to impossible levels, while simultaneously becoming less tolerant of men's flaws and growth processes. The same woman who expects patience and understanding for her own journey might write off a man who's still figuring out his career at 25. Dating apps encourage this dynamic by gamifying human connection. Women learn they can always find someone new with a simple swipe, so investment in getting to know one person deeply decreases. Men internalize constant rejection and either become desperate and unattractive, or they give up entirely and focus on video games, careers, or other pursuits that feel more rewarding than dating. The paradox deepens when you consider that many women complain about men not approaching them in real life anymore, while simultaneously creating social environments where men feel unwelcome to do so. Mixed signals about consent, workplace harassment policies that make men paranoid about any romantic gesture, and social media campaigns that paint male attention as inherently threatening all contribute to men retreating. This creates a vicious cycle. As more men withdraw from dating, the remaining men in the dating pool become increasingly desperate or manipulative, which reinforces women's negative experiences and makes them even more selective and defensive. Good men who might have been great long-term partners check out of the game entirely. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: hookup culture. Many women participate in casual dating thinking it will lead somewhere serious, but men learn they can get physical intimacy without commitment. This reduces incentives for men to develop relationship skills or invest emotionally in one person. Why work on yourself to attract a life partner when you can get your needs met through apps with minimal effort? Women often enable this dynamic by accepting casual arrangements while hoping they'll evolve into something more serious. This teaches men that commitment isn't necessary and that women will tolerate being undervalued. The women who demand better often get labeled as high maintenance or demanding. Social media also creates impossible comparison standards. Women see their friends' highlight reels and feel pressure to find equally impressive partners. Men see other guys who seem more successful and attractive online and feel inadequate. Both genders develop unrealistic expectations based on carefully curated digital personas rather than real human connection. The solution isn't to blame women or men exclusively, but to understand how modern systems have created perverse incentives. Women need to recognize that constantly having better options available doesn't actually lead to better relationships. The grass isn't always greener, and building something meaningful requires choosing someone and investing in that choice. Men need to understand that withdrawing entirely guarantees failure. While developing real skills, emotional intelligence, and purpose makes them genuinely attractive rather than just hoping for sympathy. Both genders need to learn that perfect partners don't exist, but great relationships can be built between imperfect people willing to grow together. The dating market will likely continue favoring women in terms of options, while leaving many men feeling hopeless until something changes. That change has to come from individuals making better choices about how they approach relationships, what they prioritize in partners, and how much they're willing to invest in building something real rather than just chasing the next exciting option. Understanding these dynamics doesn't mean accepting them as permanent, but pretending they don't exist helps nobody and keeps both men and women trapped in patterns that leave everyone frustrated and alone.